Hey everyone, here's a smaller piece of our sketch constraints. What we're going to do is create a shape and show at least a few of these sketch constraints that we can use. We're going to start with create a sketch, and we're going to pick our XZ plane or the front plane. We're just going to choose our line tool and create some lines. At first, so if you notice some of the blue icon above this line, it's trying to show that it is horizontal or automatically applying a horizontal constraint. We're going to do a 90 degrees, so we have our perpendicular. If you notice as I'm moving this, the little 90 degrees square in the corner pops up. We're going to continue with that. I'm using my mouse wheel or clicking my scroll wheel to pan as we go. I'm just going to make an angle here and then a vertical. You see this little 90 degree icon again. All right, from here, we're going to make some lines that forcibly don't add constraints. So not horizontal, but a little less. This one's going to be at an angle, okay, at an angle, and then we're just going to finish here. Okay, I'm going to hit escape so that that's not on my keyboard anymore, or the line tool isn't on my cursor anymore. All right, we want to make sure these two are going to be parallel. Click parallel, click on both of these. All right, we want this one here, okay, this angle here, to be perpendicular, okay, with this one over here. Okay, perpendicular. We want a parallel constraint for some reason with this one and this one. All right, and then we want to connect these open points at the end. So I'm going to use the Coincident Tool to do that. We're going to click on both the ends, and it's going to connect it together. So this isn't perfect. Obviously, these still can move around, but this is our first step for our constraints. Our secondary step, we want to make sure there's a few more that we want to have constraints. All right, so we want to edit our sketch, so we're going to right click and edit so that we're in the same one. And then we want 1 and 9 to remain parallel. All right, so that's going to be our parallel constraint. We want this one and that one to be parallel. They already are, so it's probably going to pop an error for us. Yes, so if you notice some of these, if they're already parallel, it's going to give you an error. So when we go through the activity, some of these where it asks you to try and add a constraint may not be necessary. We do want this one to be parallel with the bottom, so we're definitely going to do that. We want to make sure these two are the same length, so I'm going to click the equal sign and click on both of these. All right, and then we want to make sure our what's it called? This one and this one are collinear. So I'm going to choose collinear, choose both of those lines. Okay, if you notice, it still isn't quite even for the purposes that we need. So we're going to add a few more constraints in here. Most of these are going to be equals constraints that I'm going to add. So I'm going to add equals. So that one, that's selected. So those two need to be equal. These two little ones need to be equal. And this set needs to be equal. If you notice, this now brings it to where most of the shape moves, kind of the left and the right side match for the most part. Okay. Our next step, we're going to create a construction line down the middle. So a line, and then I'm going to come over here and click construction, and then hover over the middle, click down to the middle, and click. And the last part for this section of our video is going to use a coincident constraint and click on both of these dots. All right, and we will continue soon.